Yeah, recording in progress. Yes, and this is also the thing is I don't know how to put both of us on screen at the same time. So I don't even know multi-speaker. Maybe this will work. Okay, so welcome to the Life Atelier podcast. I'm your host, Emma Lavelle, and today I've got Kasia, and Kasia is a very good friend. A very good friend. I think you have been my like WhatsApp voice note therapist through
Yeah, we had this period.
all the stuff. And I wanted to start to do these conversations with Life Atelier members because I realized that while I'm having a journey and I'm experiencing things in my life, I think we had some voice notes back and forth where I was really able to see how coaching has impacted your life as well. And it's something that happens with my coach is she doesn't see the stuff that I'm doing. So we as coaches, we have you with us, for the time that we're coaching and we can give you the material, but then you're like our babies. Like we just have to trust that you're out in the world and you're testing and exploring. And and I also think it's really helpful for other people to see how you're actually using coaching tools in day-to-day life and the difference that it's made. So I wanted to start with you because you're someone that has been with me since before I was a coach, and you were actually an English student. And before we start, I want to show people. So Kasia just said, like, you feel a bit like, oh, like you're coming in. You're coming in from another conversation, and I want to show people, like, if they're watching or listening, just some really simple things. So very often, if I'm feeling activated before I record or before I have a conversation, I'll just do something very simple like shake my hands. So I think
Mm.
anyone's listening to this, yeah, exactly, and that like shoulder shake, and it's something I'll often do like on a coaching call. If I can see that somebody's feeling tense, is we just start by like
Mm.
saying like, how does our neck feel? um I am 90% of the time clenching my jaw, so I always have to, like, I just check there and I'll kind of move my tongue around the inside of my mouth and then just notice, like, okay, what's going on with my legs. And in fact, I'm going to sit cross-legged because I usually sit cross-legged unless I'm trying to be professional, and then I don't. And and it's less comfortable. So, Kasia, how do you feel in your body after having a quick shake?
Yeah, it's a little bit better. I like to also be as not to sit, but when I'm in a standing position, it's better to actually move my body, and I like it very much. And I'm using it when I'm having some interviews. I'm always like this because it allows me to move during the conversation. So a lot of stress can go out. And when you were talking about you doing it consciously during our coaching, I remember actually like you were just
Yeah.
like this, and and actually the feeling it brings, that I can feel in my body that something is it's like a sign of, okay, you can be relaxed because she's moving her body. uh,
I love that. And it's actually really interesting. This is where I think these conversations are so interesting because you, at least for me, it will snap together lots of other pieces of information that I have.
mm,
And what I'm learning with Rita is how dogs are communicating with each other. And they have this thing called, I discovered it from a friend on Instagram actually. It's the Nordic School of Dog Trainers. I'll put a link, but she's written this book and it's called Calming Signals. So animals are constantly
mm,
communicating to each other. They're like yawning or they're like licking or they turn their head, and it's to say like, okay, you can relax too. So it's really interesting that I'm being selfish and I'm doing it for
mm,
me, but actually, it also shows you that you can have a stretch and feel comfortable as well.
yeah.
So, I'm going to do that more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really interesting. Okay, do you want to start with like how we met? Because I can tell the story, but I think it's more interesting. I never hear you telling the story because I always jump in.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So we met, been in 2019 at the very end of the year, I think it was in December. And we met to have our English session because I wanted to learn English, and my partner just advised me to contact you because he already had lessons with you, and from the very beginning, like the energy was so like high and moving that I could feel that my English is like my learning process won't go in the way that I thought. So these are not like standard lessons when we will do grammar things. No, it
No.
wasn't that.
Oh, grammar.
So it was unexpected, but actually could like I could go in a direction that I actually wanted, but I didn't know. Like, I mean, I was discovering during this time, like when we were meeting, that what I want is to have conversations. What I want is to be able to communicate, is to able to show up and not really learn English.
Yeah.
uh, and what you've been showing even before being a professional coach. For me, you already have been a coach from the very beginning because you were showing this way, like it's not about learning English, okay? It's about how you approach things and how confident you are. So about building confidence. So that was the start, and then we went through different stages, I would say. We had this period of meeting every morning at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
and having this 1 hour of focus on a task, and we are just exchanging messages at the beginning and at the end, and that helped us both to commit to something. And then we were working together. So I was web content manager. I was trying to help you with the website.
Trying. I was very hard to help.
Yeah.
I
So
learned
there
that.
was
Yeah.
that you were sorry. What?
That I was hard to help. I think that
Ah, okay.
the journey for me, the last 2, 3 years, has been learning how to be helped, like how to accept help, how to let people help me. So now when I look
Yeah.
back, I think, oh my God, you were so patient and so tolerant.
Uh, and yeah, we had, yeah, there was those expectations, maybe a way of working that you are like more like working on your own, and then you and I'm just like on the other side, so I love like exchanging, sharing, and I was expecting you to tell me everything that you do, how you want to do this, and etc. So
And I was like, ah! No, okay, no, I'm doing this. And yeah, really, really interesting. Really, I think
so
the strength stuff really helped us though, like doing those strengths analysis and being able to understand like how our brains were
mm,
different. Um, for me was very, very interesting to see that. So
yeah, that was very nice that we started actually with this test. So this was your idea to measure like how we actually are in a team, and then going from this, be able to say like who can like be better at what kind of stuff. Um, so I was going very far in analyzing the results, I remember, because it was
I think
fascinating
you
for
did
me.
like a cross section, but it was amazing. It was really amazing. Like you really took, because there was us and then there was Alex as well, and you really looked at like how we could all interact with each other and like how we could support each other, and it was incredible. I'm well, I don't want to interrupt where you are, but is that are you conscious of those skills now and how you use them?
Mm, uh, Way better than I used to be. But still, I think the context when you are in the situation that as we were, so the moment you really need to work together in order to create something, these are moments when you actually this is the most challenging part. So you can have some ideas about it, and then in this moment you can challenge yourself with this. But how I perceive it is I can more see it as a strength that I used to see it. And actually with the test, the Gallup test that I did, which showed that I am relator
Yeah.
as of my first strength. And it surprised me a lot because I really wasn't aware of how much this side of my personality is strong, and how I really put how much like importance I give to relate to other people. So yeah, that was actually the first time I saw it, and then with this information. So that's why the information it can be so important that then I could like observe it. How do I feel with knowing that? So is that actually true or not? So this is what you also advise when we are doing all of this personality tests, for example, so that we don't need to actually don't need to always relate to what it is the result, but then we can observe and check if this is actually true. How do we relate to what we see as a result?
Yeah.
Um, so this is yeah, like information to check to so yeah, I think now I see it much more as my strength, and I can make use of it. So because of the fact that I am aware that this is my strength. So now I'm currently in the process of going into interviews because I'm looking for a new job.
It's more my
And
beauty
actually,
example. I'm
so
like,
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's been a long way. It's been a long way, and if we are here,
And it's also
I'm
like
so happy.
it's like I just want to catch that, even that like long way. Like you have been
Mm,
an amazing journey, and it's been the journey that you're supposed to be on. I remember I think on a coaching call a few weeks ago where you said like you realized that you're already that person. And it's the
mm,
same as like when we do these personality tests or strength tests or whatever, it's so that it's almost like holding a mirror up and we can see like I did a video before and I realized, oh, maybe I have a tick bite behind my ear that I didn't realize. It was always there. Yeah, tick season. My God, I'm paranoid. And maybe it's not a tick. Maybe I'm seeing it as a tick bite because I'm paranoid. But the fact is it's there whether I see it or not. Right. And our strengths, other people can see them, whether we can see them or not. And so when we start to do
mm,
tests, it's just one tool to start to see ourselves as other people see ourselves. And I think that's why I love to do this like self-perception update of we could all see Kasia
Mhm.
as powerful and strong and focused and I'm going to say like bloody minded as well. It's like an English thing for like very like tenacious, like I'm doing it, yes or yes. Um, and in fact, I think that's a lesson that I learned from you. Like I always remember when you visited me in Spain and I was like very cheerful about like drinking and like going out. It was Christmas and I was like, yeah, I want to have a glass of wine. And I remember saying to you, like, Kasia, don't let me have more than two. And you were like, no, this is on you. This is your decision. So, and I really learned, you know, because again, when you did that, I realized, oh yeah, it is on me. You know, I don't need to get other people to like police me like a little girl. Like I
Mm.
decide. And I think it was so clear that you were already that person. And it was just so interesting to see you suddenly seeing that as well, you know,
Mm.
realizing. And yeah, I loved that. I really loved that. So I would love to know, like, when you think about the journey that you've been on, how would you describe it? Like, would you describe it as phases? Like, what have you been learning about yourself with this journey? And for anyone that obviously doesn't know you, what are we talking about when we talk about your journey?
Yeah, so I'm directly thinking about the insecurities. So I think I was dealing a lot with this. Um, yeah, maybe this is the word. And and it was like in many areas of my life that I felt insecure for a reason. And and what I learned is that actually at the very moment when I was feeling this, what that was like an area of my life was just uh, um, I don't know how it is in English, but it was just taking my attention to show me like you that I need to do something with something because I don't feel good about it.
Because
And
you
at the moment,
what it was telling
I
you.
was yeah pulling me towards it, and I was perceiving it as a threat or something that it shouldn't be happening. I should be focused on something else, and I remember every time when we had a coaching together, and I was just expressing it. I think for one way or another, you were telling me, and what if this is actually good that I want to take care about it. So was, for example, about my family, which wasn't going well, and I was so concerned about it. And in the same time, I was learning my new skills for becoming a developer. So I wanted to focus on this, but the other part of my life was taking my attention all the time, and I looked for a way to just be focused on my professional life,
Mhm.
and I didn't know what to do with the other. So the message from you was, and maybe this is okay that then you take care because maybe this is important for you. So so then with the time I realized that it's been like I was moving from area to area, my personal life and was stuff, and I was building something there, so that these insecurities, so that I can feel secure actually. And this is also something that comes a lot with coaching, is this question of security.
Yeah.
I love your expression. I'm using it now for interviews. Is am I loved? Am I secure? You know.
Do I feel safe? Yeah, it started with Rita. It's really it's still like it's how I repair my relationship with myself and with her. So even like yesterday, I thought like, oh, you had a not great day yesterday. So when we're going to sleep, just before going to sleep, I say, "Do you feel loved? Do you feel safe?" And it's like, yeah, it's a really it's building the relationship with yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because at this point you can realize if you don't, so you can see it. And if the answer is yes, it's so like it's everything that you need to know to be okay with yourself. So for me that's these two sentences is the whole like basic of like everything else. With this I can do anything.
Yeah.
um
Yeah, even when it,
uh
you made me think of like I was very scared of heights. And I remember being on a hike in the Pyrenees, and there was a very thin path. I try not to be subjective, like, okay, maybe for some people it's an enormous path if you're used to it. But for me, it was like, okay, it's narrower, like I'm small, right? And this is my width. And there was a drop going down. And I had to go. There was no other path. Like this was the path back. This is the path, and I'd already gone that way, so I had to go back. And I remember saying to myself, like, do I feel loved? Yes. Do I feel safe? Not really. Okay, so we go slow. And so it's like it doesn't mean that we don't do the thing, but
mm,
we know like, right, I'm not feeling
mm,
safe right now. How
yeah,
can I increase my self-compassion? What do I
mm,
need to hear?
exactly.
That I can go at my own pace, or that if I fail, it's
mm,
fine, we can do it again. So it's such a good check-in, and I love how you're using it.
mm,
Yeah, that makes me very happy.
yeah. Yeah, so you want me to also like see the tools, how I am using the tools of coaching, and I haven't prepared it like because maybe I would find some list or something. So this is what I'm saying is spontaneous,
That's what we like.
because the way I'm using those tools is actually that way. So I try to keep contact with the content you are providing and with the person you are. And this is my way to be sure that I'm applying those tools in my life. I'm not checking actually like with the list, okay, did I do the model or did I do something? But if I keep connection to it, then I'm sure that it stays within me, and it's easier to my brain to catch the information because it's just close. It's somewhere close because I just heard about it. I just been talking about it, etc. So this finally is part of my life. So I would say that coaching tools are just um, are so deeply connected already because it's
Your
been a
brain.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been working on it, and I've been committing to different things at different time, depending on what I needed at this time. And what I loved is that uh, I felt always that there is something there that. Sorry, but I linked, coaching with you. So it's like you and coaching being close to me, because for me it's quite the same.
The only coach. Yeah. I do it with like the yoga with my yoga teacher. I'm like, I know there's a whole industry of yoga teachers, but really like her way of doing it and and it wasn't even just her. She has three or four teachers, and now they're spread out across different studios. And I'm like, fuck, I really liked it when they're in one place. I could just go. But this is now the thing of like, we
Mm,
pick something that works for us. Our brain has those associations.
mm,
In fact, what I
mm,
was going to say is I almost feel like sometimes it's not necessarily me, like, okay, yeah, I've been your link and I'm very comfortable saying I'm very good at what I do. I live what I do. I'm always updating it, improving it. But I sometimes think it's having that space, that virtual space, and that energy to connect to. It's almost more that you're constantly seeing what you are already doing, but noticing that they are tools, or noticing that they're strengths, so you can repeat it. So you can notice, oh, when I decide that I'm prioritizing my family and I'm not going to judge myself, I feel better. I feel more powerful. And that might be something that you were already doing sometimes, but you weren't repeating it because you didn't realize it was a tool. Whereas
Mm,
now,
mm,
okay, in my
mm,
toolkit, I've got this.
mm,
And why don't we remember that? Because we're humans and the world is full of stuff,
mm,
and it's
mm,
why, like, I go to my time hacker coaching call at least twice a month, even though I've certified, even though I've done all this work, even though I know all about the time stuff. Why? Because I'll listen to a podcast with somebody very charismatic, and their solution is waking up at 5 a.m. And my little brain is like, this is the way. And so then it's not a problem. It's not like, oh, it's not working. It's just, I just go back to the environment where that's not the way. And I remind myself,
mm,
this is the
mm,
choice. So I think you're really good at, again, your strength of relator. Your strength is, it's easier for you when you're connecting with other people.
mm,
So what do? You put yourself in an environment where you have that connection, and that is your
mm.
strength, you know?
Y-
It's very good.
Yes, yes. So at this point, um, I think you're completely right that this as much that I'm not even aware of anymore that I'm doing it, but at the beginning it was conscious
Yeah,
that I need this connection, that it will eventually bring me something. I will feel good with it. So, but it wasn't natural to create this because before I didn't know how
exactly.
important it is for me. And I felt uncomfortable asking people for something or trying to connect or being the first asking questions, how are you, or anything, trying to build that connection. Um, and um, and now I feel like this I've been experiences this so much that now I'm not even aware anymore of the fact that I'm doing it. I'm at the point of stopping, almost stopping being aware of the, because it's becoming natural.
Yeah, which is
Mm,
something I really love to highlight for people, because I know that for me, when I started coaching or when I started something, I did have this thought of like, God, this is a lot of energy and this is a lot of doing. Like, I know people that will like do a self-coaching model every morning, and then they'll do one in the evening, and they do a thought, and like they're doing a lot of like coaching. And I just thought, this can't be. Like, this can't be it. And I think, okay, if you enjoy that and you enjoy the analysis, great. If it works for you, great. But for a lot of us, there is a point, and it's the same. It's like language acquisition. It's a learning curve. There is a point where you are, I think they call it unconscious ignorance. So you don't know what you don't know. Then you know that you're doing something that's not helpful, but you don't, and that might be for us the thought of like, I'm not creative, right? Or I'm messy, like having those thoughts, like those are two of ours that come up. And like being aware that that's not helpful. Then there's this, like, I think it's conscious, I can't remember what it is, but it's like you're actively correcting yourself. And that's kind of where we're getting to with like more high level coaching, of noticing like, oh, I said
mm,
that thing and it's not helpful. I'm just going to
mm,
change that. And then there is it's just you. It's effortless, right?
mm,
And it's not to say that you don't ever have the thought, but it's just more you just scoop it up and you're like, oh, I don't really believe that. Oh, how funny, you know?
mm,
And it feels so good. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't cost effort. And I think about it now a lot in terms of trail running and I'm learning a lot about people like Kilian Jornet and like people who are doing these like running in the mountains. And I'm like learning all about it. And I can see there is no point that it's easy. I shared this documentary in the Life Atelier the other week. I think it's about 45 minutes. And he's running through the Pyrenees and he does 7 days. And this is like the best runner in the world. Like he does this all the time. And on the first day, he's like, this is really hard on the first day. And I was like, the fuck? Like, shouldn't you be like, I don't know, like, oh, this is so easy. And he was like, no, this is really hard. And he's like honest about, like, I'm going to use all of my skills. And by day 6 or 7, he's crying and he's talking about like the emotional cost. And he's also talking, I get goosebumps because he's also talking about how beautiful it is. And he's simultaneously kind of suffering, but also appreciating the beauty of it. And for me, that's like, that's everything. When you can do that, you've got that resilience to have
Mm.
that vulnerability, to experience those emotions, to cry at the same time as you're
Mm.
also going after your dream and you're in it.
Mm.
I don't think there's anything better than that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And it's a skill.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, and this is very mature, I think, because what I think in our times the approach, like general approach, is to be comfortable, so that we look for, like we always been, I think, but we look for discomfort, and so that it should be easy, or that the final point mm, is to feel good about something. But there is so many points on this road that you can feel uncomfortable with, like you need actually to feel uncomfortable. But this is the work, like to recognize at which moment, you know. For me that was a lot about avoidance, and I remember also this point on in our conversations, to know that I'm not doing something because I'm avoiding something, and this is not like obvious for us. So this is when you talk about the mirror and this coaching which provide this mirror, because at this very moment I cannot always see that I am avoiding something. And especially if there is a confusion. So this is, see, like when I'm saying these words, I think about all you and your teaching is the confidence, the confusion, which is like a state
Yeah.
which doesn't allows us to recognize, and as if it is done by our brain to not allow us to find like actually what we want. And so this was also a lot very important to me to see it from this point of view, because then when I was confused, um, I I could not directly look for like solution, but recognize, okay, I'm confused. What does that mean? That there is something which is difficult for me in this situation, and my brain gives me this confusion state so that I stay where I am, so that I don't move.
Like a net,
And even
throwing a net over you.
yeah, and that actually I do know what I want. I do know what to do, but just at this moment, I have no access to it. But there, it is somewhere there. I just, but recognition of that state, that this is not the final state. It just, there is some discomfort in the situation. So I look for the discomfort. Okay, what is the discomfort? What I am avoiding? What is the problem for me here? So then so with that I can move on. So this is, yeah, you hear yourself.
It's because it happened to me. why do I know confusion is a state? Because my coach shared that with me when I was in running around like a hamster in a box. And I just remember
Mm,
my coach saying really calmly, because I think I was saying, like, I just want clarity. Like, I just want clarity. And she was like,
mm,
clarity is a state. No, it's not a state. Clarity is a decision. Like, you create clarity. It's not like
mm,
being hungry.
mm,
And when she said that, I think we've got a video of it because it was a recorded. You'll just see me like I couldn't speak. What? It's not like hunger. Clarity doesn't just appear. Clarity doesn't just appear. I create clarity. I create clarity. If I create, oh my God. And
mm,
it was like I just discovered gravity. And so from that point, that's my rope that I'll use for when I'm in that state of overwhelm, is just start taking decisions. And I did it like before we started. My brain wanted to be like panicky because it was starting to say like, oh, you've got so many things to do and all of these things, and you're late. You don't have time for yoga. And I was like, no, I'm going to do yoga. If you say I don't have time for yoga, I'm going to do yoga. And then literally, I just realized, okay, I'm just going to take a decision. Yesterday was an admin day. Tomorrow is an admin day. So anything that's admin goes tomorrow. And today is about videos, connecting, coaching, and calm. Like immediate, like I just felt it in my body. And I always think it's like a cat, like
mm,
relaxing. And it's so interesting how we can just take that decision
mm,
of I do it tomorrow. Not from, as you say, not from avoidance.
mm,
Knowing that this is not avoidance, because yesterday I spent from
mm.
7 a.m. till 10 p.m. on admin. And I want to say, there's like a Spanish word for it. It's like I succeeded, like I won. I won. It looked like I wasn't going to win at 10 p.m. and then I won. And I did the
Mm.
thing with the French bureaucracy. So yeah, I think that dialogue with ourselves, where we are learning that capacity to be honest and to know if we're avoiding or if it's time to rest, and then coaching to really help us with that extra
Yeah,
mirror.
yeah,
It's a pretty magic combination, I think.
mm,
Kasia,
yeah.
I need to ask you one more question before I let you go, because I'm conscious of the time. But I would love to know. I think what could be really valuable actually for people listening is you've done something that a lot of society tells us is really hard. It's really hard. You've changed your career, you've changed direction, you've retrained. What advice, or like what would you like to share about the process? It can either be with your past self or with anyone that's listening and they're thinking, I'd like to change career, but I think it's too late or it's too hard or it's too difficult. Like, what would you say for them?
Mm.
Don't do it.
Mm, I would say, well, still with your words, 1% belief is enough. Mm, so I was seeing myself just constantly not being sure if what I decided is good.
Mhm.
And it lasts for like 3 years at least. So this was just every few months at least was a very huge like crisis, and I know I cannot do this. And then like almost every day there was a little crisis. Every time that I had a problem with the code not working or didn't understand something. Um, so there was this guy just coming up. Okay, I told you this is not for you, or something like this.
Yeah.
But the way was just only keep going and just believing that at some point it will get better.
Yes.
And only the belief, because at this moment I had no confidence. I couldn't build confidence from what I have done because I haven't done this yet.
Yes.
So the confidence couldn't come from the past. So I needed to build it from the future.
Oh,
And
goosebumps.
the, So the future is the belief. So that it's all the belief, the hope. Hope, no, hope maybe is too emotional, but
Yeah.
yeah, hope. Yeah, I wouldn't say hope. I would say belief.
Belief. Yeah, I think for me, belief is, we always talk about like active belief, active trust.
Mm.
And it really is, it's that bringing your brain, when that inner critic pops up to say, why did you think you could do this? Saying, thank you. I'm listening to the 1% of me that says, because if I manage this, it's possible, it's amazing. Because I'm enjoying the process, because I'm learning, because
Mm.
and like it is very active. That's what I always say to people is we underestimate just how active believing is until the tipping point where this is just what you believe. Like now,
Mm.
you're not like, oh, I don't know if I can code. Can I code? I don't know if I can code. Oh, what is this computer? Like now it's just, okay, give me,
Yeah.
right? And if you don't know something, I'll work it out. I know who to ask.
And the second thing I would say, which is linked to it, was that you are already doing it. So this is why the action is so important. Then realizing only the fact that I don't know if I can be a developer. And what you are doing now? You're
Yes.
coding. Okay, so I'm already doing it. Like actually, it's not somewhere in the future. It's happening now. I'm doing it. Okay, so if I'm doing it today, maybe I can also do it on some more extent tomorrow. But this is happening. This is not something that will happen. It is happening now. I'm already doing it. So that was also like a point when I was stopping. I was seeing it that this is untrue, that I cannot do this because I'm doing it.
Doing,
So
yes.
that was the evidence. The evidence was
No, I
is the
love
fact.
that.
It's a fact.
I love that so much. And it's something I used to say, like, I will say when I was an English teacher, no one really got better at grammar because of an exercise in the class. But what I would always say to them on the day one is, you are already an English speaker. Like you're already using language. And that's what I say now. Like, okay, a lot of people would say my French is dreadful, right? It's, if you give me an exam, I'm going to be in elementary. But I use French. I live in France. My business is in France. I am a French speaker. Can I improve my skill? Yes, I can. But I'm using it. Therefore,
Mm.
every extra word is a win, right? That's just me improving my skill. The same with Spanish, right? I'm not fluent, but what is fluency? It's so subjective. And if I criticize myself, I'll never be fluent anyway, because I'll always look for extra words. Oh, I can't talk about
Mm.
black holes in Spanish. No,
Mm.
can't talk about them in English. You know,
Yeah, I'm going. I wanted to say the same. I can't talk about it in Polish neither. So.
and we realize that, and the only difference is if you see that as a problem or not. And if you
Mm.
don't see it as a problem and you practice returning to the state of curiosity, well, now I can have a really fun conversation with somebody who knows about black holes, and I can ask them all kinds of silly questions that are really fun. Whereas if I'm judging myself, I don't have connection. I'm just going to avoid that conversation and I don't learn. So yeah, I think those two examples are perfect. And I'm going to stop recording. I've never ended a podcast with someone, so I'm not going to do it elegantly. I'm just going to end it. And then next week I'll know how I do it.